my group, saying that every group is supposed to present one special case and talking about your case. So have you got that PPT ready? 每一组今天要介绍一个案例，有吗？ Just check the line message in our group, and you will see that you are asked or you are expected to post one case. Okay, so later, why don't we go to the platform, the e-learning platform, 就是教学平台, and let's see if they have posted anything there. Talking about the one example here. Can you click back on the PPT? Yours PPT. And thanks for Yiwen, the TA. So we have this course material. So I will try to say something about this case in Badouzi. And then after that, each group will have to present your case, okay? And then if you like to have some interaction with other group members, then that would be fine. Like, for example, when you are saying something about your case, you may like to ask the other group members some questions so that they can respond to what you're saying. Okay, so let's take a look at the Badouzi example. If you look at the background information here, you can know that Badouzi actually is in Keelung, and that is a fish port. So of course, back in the old days, people were relying on fishing as their financial support. So the majority of Badouzi fishing activity during the Qing dynasty was coastal. It means that people there go outside. I mean, they went outside for fishing. And then because it was really easy back then, you can just you just needed one boat and then the fisherman, and then you were on the business, you were going. And then, so back then, the population of fishermen was rising. But then, and also it says that the entrance barrier was low. But then after some political situation, I mean, after as time went by, and then also because there are so many new technology to catch fish, and also the machine and everything, so it has become more prosperous. The fishing industry has become more prosperous. Go to the next page. But of course, I think you all know about this, since people always thought that the resources in the sea was unlimited, and then we could always go on fishing, and then we didn't have to worry about someday there would be no fish in the ocean. So people just went on. But then, of course, because the overfishing and also the pollution, that's caused the marine resources become fewer and fewer. And then when you go fishing, you don't catch that much fish, then of course you cannot support your family. You need to find some other way to maintain and to try to live a good life. So of course back then a lot of people just went out of some other big cities probably, and they did not stay in Badouzi to go on the traditional industry. And also because the overfishing, and then the activity was far away from the fish port. So let's talk about this probably for a little while. And when, I don't know how many of you have ever been to a fish port or a fishing village. Any one of you has ever been to a fishing village? Please just raise your hand. You have been to, I think you have been to, you too, right? Fishing village. How about you three? No, never? How about people here? Have you ever been to a fishing village? Okay, so what did you see there? For those who, we have 3 TAs, they all went to the fishing village, probably more than once. So what did you see in a fishing village? What kind of scenes or stuff have you ever seen there? Maybe Chris, just share. What do you have seen in a fishing village?
A lot of old people.
A lot of old people?
Yeah.
Okay. So what happened to the young people?
I don't know what happened to the young people, but there were a lot of old people. They were educating us on how to make fish dumplings and their local food,
Okay.
and on how they how they fish get the fish, and how do they market the fish and everything.
You mean the elderly shared their stories back then?
Yes.
Okay, right. So yesterday actually I went to the fishing village too. So I got a chance to meet an old lady who, as you said, who is still running this business that is making the fish bowl by hand. So that's the traditional way of making a life. And then she is still using that to support herself and her family. But then, of course, I think she's like 70 years old. So as she said, this might become less and less. I mean, people doing this might become fewer and fewer. So she probably will be the only few number of people living on the fishing village and still doing this kind of business. Okay, so old people will be one thing that you have observed in the fishing village. How about you? What did you see in a fishing village?
The young men not in a village, always old men and the kids, and the parents to ask the old man to take care of the kids.
So that's I think that's what we have seen today in the fishing village. Like there are only old men and children left in their hometown because young people or middle-aged people have to go to the big cities to make a living, to earn some money, to support their family. How about you? What do you see there?
There are fewer people on the road and fewer tourism on the road. Yeah.
No tourism.
No.
tourists either.
Yeah.
Okay. So not too many people walking on the street and also no tourists either because as you can see, this is like all the business is gone and people are moving out and they don't have anything to offer. So of course tourists are not coming. But then we have to I have to say something before we move on. Badozi is a little bit different from the fishing village you went to because you went to Linbian and also Donggang. But the fishing village there, their business is aquaculture. That means that they are having their own fish pond and then they feed fish in the fish pond. But then for Badozi, the fish port, they actually went out of the sea to catch the fish. So that's the two different ways. But I believe back then, if you go to Badozi, you probably will see the same situation as you have observed in Linbian or Jiadong. Still, there are not too many people walking on the street and no tourists going there, and then only old people and the children left. Okay, so let's move on. And you can see that because the reason of overfishing and also the ecosystem has been destroyed. And then, of course, there are not so much catch in the ocean. And of course, their ways of making a living are harmed. And then, of course, a lot of people just move out. And here's the population. You can see it's dwindling in size. And that's 111. How many people? 2,000. And then to maybe 18,000. Here it says that 2052 to 60,000. Every 15 years, the population will decline by about 450 people on average. That is actually a lot if you consider the total population in this small village. You probably think that, 400 is not a big amount of people, but then a big number of people. But then if you take a look at the overall number of people there, you will see that actually 450 is a lot. That every 15 years, 450 people will be gone. And then maybe in which year there will be no more people left? In how many years? If according to the rate here, every 15 years, 450 people will be gone. I mean, there are no more. Then how many years later there will be no person living there at all? 可以用数学算一下吗？如果每15年减少450人的话，目前 2020 we have like 1600. Then in which year there will be no resident in Badozi? Huh? In 20 years? 40, 45 years? 45 years, that's less than, I mean, when you are like, right now, you are probably 20 something, right? So when you're like 18 years, if you go to Bados, there no people are living there anymore. Isn't that very shocking? You know, you go to some place and it used to be a city and a lot of people lived there, and then suddenly no one is living there. It's like a dead city. Okay, so this is really terrible. And you can see more than 300 people are over 65 years. So years old. So just like Chris and all the other TAs just mentioned, when you go to the fish port, you only see old people there. Okay, the next page. And then of course the community are facing a lot of problems. And first of all, we have, because the destroy or the harm to the marine system, the marine biological system. And then, of course, people who are living on by fishing the number of the people has decreased. And also young people are migrating to the big cities, and then they do not follow the traditional business. And the reason, I think I probably would like to talk about this for a while. Imagine that in your family, your grandparents and your parents used to go fishing as a living, and then you were raised in such a family. If you were raised in such a family, and then when you saw that your grandparents and parents were all trying to earn some money by going outside of the sea to catch fish, would you like to do the same thing? I mean, since you are growing up in such an environment, would you like to do the same thing? I need a microphone. Where's the other? Okay, so just pass the microphone to any other group members. So would you like to also go outside to catch fish as your parents or your grandparents did? 祖父母跟父母都是去捕鱼的，那你在渔村长大，你自己会不会想去捕鱼呢？
No.
Why not?
Because I'm lazy.
Then what kind of work would you like to do if you are lazy? You probably don't have to do any work since you're lazy. What kind of work, I mean, if you are lazy, what kind of work can you do for lazy people?
Sleeping. My father.
You still have to do something, right, to stay alive, to support yourself. 为什么 lazy people cannot be a fisherman? I think we should go back to the question. Why can't the lazy person to become a fisherman? You say because you are lazy, so you don't want to become a fisherman to make a living like that. But then how come that a fisherman cannot be lazy?
为什么说那个
对，
懒的人不能懒呢？
渔民不能懒惰，为什么
Waking up early. No wake up.
Okay, yeah, you carry on. He has answered, and then
Waking up early.
you have to wake up very early, and so that is a kind of a hardship to wake up early. And what else? You do not want to become fisherman, right? If you are raised in a fisherman family, you don't want to become a fisherman yourself. Is that right? 就是你是不是也同意不愿意当渔夫好？ And then he said because if people are lazy, then they don't want to become fishermen. And then he said because you have to wake up very early to try to catch some fish. And what else?
I feel boring.
It's boring.
Yeah.
Do you
On the
really think
sea,
it's boring?
Too many times.
Spend too much time
Yes.
on the sea. Is it really spending too much time? I think like if we actually won't have the chance to go to Yong'an or Ziguan, the fish port, but then actually according to my observation, the fishermen really went out very early. They go out very early, and then but they come back before noon. So actually for the afternoons they're always free. It's not too much time of work there. They went out very early, but then they came back early too. So it's not like they spend all day. If you talk about far, if you talk about far away, like you have to go to Norwegian or Iceland to catch fish, and then that might be a lot of time you have to spend on board. But then if we're talking about the near island, the sea, and they probably are just catching fish near the seashore. So it doesn't take them too much time. I mean, they don't have to spend that much time on the boat. So maybe time consuming is not the major concern. 就是耗时这件事可能不一定，但是如果是远洋就是耗时，对不对？好 ，back to this group. Yeah, no, not here. Listen to me. My question is, if you are raised in a fisherman family, your grandparents and your parents are all fishermen, will you also like to become a fisherman?
No,
Why not?
I want to do another job.
Some other different kind of job. Why is that? Why can't just be a fisherman?
Because I too early to job.
You don't like what? Going on board? 不喜欢上船吗？ Going on board. I'm speaking English, okay?
我不喜欢就是太早起，因为他们都已经看过他们已经
有看他们捕鱼的影片，就 they have to get up very early. So getting up early, it seems to be a very difficult thing for today's young people, right? So that would be very, very hard work to do.
Yes.
Okay, getting up early. How about you? Would you like to become fisherman?
No.
Okay, the reason.
The reason is the first one because I'm easy to seasick.
Oh, seasick.
Yes,
That could be
seasick.
a question,
And then
problem.
the second one is I think to become a fisherman it's a really dangerous job.
It is dangerous.
Yes,
Yeah.
because it's on high risk when you are go on sail.
Yeah.
And the third one maybe is it's really stink.
It
Yeah.
stink.
Yeah, but
The
the fish
condition,
smell. Yes.
right? The condition stink.
And I
So
guess
you
it's-
don't like the smell.
Yeah, it's not suitable for me.
Okay, so there are three reasons, right? And they are very persuading reasons. I mean, people can just accept those reasons. First of all, is you may get seasick.
Yeah.
You get dizzy. You don't feel comfortable. And then the situation there is very bad, especially the smell. And then the third one is that
Dangerous.
dangerous. It could be you may hurt yourself, or some people may get killed. Okay, good. How about you?
I can experience.
So you would like to become a fisherman? Oh,
Yeah.
good.
1 day, 2 days, 3 days.
Just for 1 day or 2 days? I mean, just experience it,
Yeah.
but not for like a career.
Yes.
The reason is
You need patience.
you need patience. You need
And,
to be very patient.
And optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
And
You also have to be optimistic.
yeah, and
Maybe someday you cannot catch any fish, but you still have to be smiling. Mm-hmm.
and never give up.
Never give up. So we're talking about some movies probably. I remember I saw a movie that they tried to catch some fish, and indeed they successfully caught a lot of fish, but then they couldn't make it back home because of the storm. The storm, and the whole fish just turned over, and everyone was killed in the accident. So maybe that's like the movie, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be optimistic, but then you cannot always know what will happen, especially in the sea. There are so many situations that are out of control.
Yes.
Okay, good. How about you?
My answer is no.
Okay.
Because I want to take another job.
So why not? Why don't you just follow your
Fisherman
father's
is
steps?
so busy.
Because as a fisherman, you will become very busy. Too
Yeah.
busy, is that right? Okay. Especially if you are just like a labor fisher, the 渔工, 就是 you're not the captain. then you are very busy because you have to catch the fish and then you have to probably mend the nets and then clean the cabin. So doing all this kind of jobs, so that can be very busy. 就是如果是渔工的话，做很多事情。我刚刚讲要抓鱼，要捕渔网，还要清理渔场 ，a lot of things. So that's make you very busy, right? So you don't want to be that busy. 不想那么忙。
对。
Okay, good. The last one here. Would you like to become fisherman since your grandparents and your parents are all fishermen?
No,
Why not?
because it's tired and boring.
It's boring. I think we really need to talk about the meaning of the definition of being boring. 到底所谓的枯燥无聊是什么意思？就是 I probably will say if I stay there all day doing nothing, I would say it is boring. But then do you think that fishermen will feel boring? Will feel bored? 好 ，OK, go on. 就是 boring. 好。
I don't want to do a fisherman because when I walk on the sea, it is lonely. If I go to the far ocean to work, it's pretty lonely. So I don't want to do a fisherman. And what do I say? I have a seriously seasick.
Yeah, like he has the same
Yeah.
kind of problem too.
In the winter, I go to the Xiaoliuqiu. Tell
You are
them,
seasick too?
yeah, I want to die.
Like 15 minutes.
Yeah, I want to die. I'm
Okay.
very uncomfortable.
Okay, you got easy.
Yeah.
You want to throw up? Okay, good. So people may have different reasons, and only one person said that. If you count, like we have 18 something or 14 something people here, only one person said that he would be willing to try, but only for one day or a couple of days. And no one here, even though your family has done this for 2 generations, still you don't want to follow their steps. But then if your parents or grandparents are doctors, teachers, or like selling something, you probably would like to go on to continue the business, but not fishermen. The reason, of course, you are saying, oh, because you have to work very hard, you have to get up very early, and sometimes it's really so boring staying on board all the time. But then I think for me, I think, according to my observation, one thing is that the living condition on board is really very bad. No, you may have some air conditioning, but then the smell and the space is very limited. And then you have to actually work all the time. It's not just about waiting there for fish to come up to your boat. You're trying to catch them. And after you catch them, you have to clean them up. And then, of course, there are so many other things to do to make the machines work. So you're busy working all the time. And then, of course, if you're going to some faraway places, and then it takes long time to stay on the sea, and you cannot use your cell phones all the time. You have just to pay attention to your job. So the condition, the working condition is not that good. And then also about making money. I guess maybe just the captains are the ones that earn a lot of money. But then if you are not the captain, you do not own the boats yourself, then you're just hired. And I don't think you will have a very good salary. Okay, so that could be another reason. And then and of course for today's young people, we all like to stay in modern cities. We like to enjoy the modern city life. And then everything there is convenient. We can always go to the convenience store, or we can always use the internet. But then on the fish boat, this won't be feasible. This won't be possible. So, and then that's why young people do not stay, even though their parents are doing this for so many years. And their grandparents probably are also fishermen, but then they do not want to carry on. And also, let's take a look here. Say, now the fishing net is produced by machine, and because the time to make the fish net is very short, and then they can start to create some nets very soon. But then young people do not want to continue. Even though making fish nets is too much trouble or too hardship, too much hard work for them. So after that, the machines take over. So we don't need so many laborers there. So young people do not, on the one hand, young people do not want to carry on this kind of business. On the other hand, machines are replacing laborers. So young people are not needed for this kind of job. So move on. So what can we do there? No, people cannot go fishing because the conditions so bad. They don't want to stay on board. And also they probably cannot make so much money. And also they do not need young people to make fish nets because the machines are doing the job. So for Badozi, they are thinking then, what can we do? If we try to revitalize the community there, of course, we do not encourage young people to go fishing, and then we do not ask them to make or to create, to produce fish nets. So one thing is that we try to do some artistic work. Go on. So this is Sanyu Xinwang is the community trying to collaborate with the university, that is the Keelung Haiyang Daxue, the National Marine University. So they're trying to work together. I know some teachers there working with the fishermen, and then the university, of course, working like a think bank, because the professor there probably have a different professional backgrounds, I mean, in academic fields. And then they probably can offer some knowledge or skills, more modern skills, and then work with the community people. The next page. And also, what they're trying to do is that, first of all, they have to establish a local communication platform. Whenever you're trying to work with some local people, the first thing you need to do is that you go to that community to find out what problems they're having and what they need there. Actually, the other day we had a workshop and we invited Ke Yongquan Laoshi to come over. He will be in our class too. He will give a speech. And one question he asked us is that whenever you're trying to work with the local community, one question you have to come up with is, what change am I making? And who will have some change because I'm there? Okay, so one more time, what change can I make? And who will change because I'm there? Because if you go to some community, you say, oh, I like to collaborate with you and we like to work together, but then after I'm gone, nothing happened, nothing has changed. Then what's the point of being there? What's the point of you as a university teacher or as a university student to go there to work with them? So you have to come up with the question, what change am I going to make? And who is going to be influenced by my contribution there? And also you go there, you try to have this platform to talk with the local people to find out what kind of questions or what kind of problems they are facing. And what can we do to help them solve the problems? And that will affect them. That will make some change. And then they will try to have some like the cultural heritage. And do you remember that when we talk about the local revitalization, it doesn't have to be about industry. It can be also about cultural heritage. 就是地方创生不一定都是在讲经济的起飞，它可以是文化的传承。So for the university, the 海洋大学, Marine Ocean University in Keelung, they are trying to do is that they work with the different schools there, including elementary school and the high schools. They also need to find out the so-called 在地职人，就是the local experts, especially in their local business, and they work with these people. And the next page. But then, before I move on, I'd like to ask you, so when you go to a fishing village, because we're always talking about fishing village here, and also Badozi is another example that university working with a fishing village, you want to talk with people and trying to find out the problems. Who would you go and talk to? And what kind of problems do you expect that they will tell you? One more time. My question is, when you go to the fishing village, like Jilong Haida, the Ocean University, they went to Badouzi to work with the local people there. So they needed to talk with the local community. They talked to the people there. So when you talk to the people in the fishing village, who would you go to first? And what kind of problems do you expect to hear from them? I'll give you 1 minute. Who's going to give me the answer? Like, he? Okay, go ahead. I mean, you take turns, okay? Always take turns. If this time he is the one to answer, and next time it will be you or you or you, okay? So you go first. You go.
后面的因为底下是什么
So who will you go and ask questions to find out what their problems are?
village leader.
The village leader. Who will that be? Who will be the leader of the village? 村长. 村长. So what kind of person? The chief, okay, the village chief. Is that right? Is that the correct term? The village chief. So you go and visit him. So what kind of problems do you expect that he will tell you?
How is the weather?
How's the weather today?
没有
Is it raining?
就最
Is
近
it-
天气怎么样啊？
How's the weather? How are the weather conditions recently? So why do you ask that question? What's that important?
因为他靠天吃饭的啊。
Oh, okay. So after you ask him about the weather conditions, so what? Why do you need to know that? Why do you need to know the weather conditions?
怎么讲？这样才知道，就是天气的因素会影响到它那个渔获量的那个多跟少啊，
是。
所以先了解到这个你才知道。
Then why do you go to the fish village, the chief of the village? You can just check the internet. The internet will tell you everything about the weathers for the whole
可
year.
是那个是不一定会影响，只是就是还是要去问他，因为那个不是说天气不好就一定捕不到。
So probably, I mean, let me try to revise your question. 我试着先修正一下你的问题，就是 you may like to go to the chief, the village, asking him how the weather is affecting his fishing business. Is that right? Okay, that may be the question. Okay, good. Anything else? Do you need to?
No.
Okay, so pass the microphone to the next group.
I talked to someone who doing similar things first.
Who? Say that again, I'm sorry. What did you say?
I talked to someone who doing this thing first.
Doing the business.
This thing.
Doing these things.
These things first.
Okay, you talk to the person or the people who are also in the fishing business, right? Okay, and then what do you expect to hear? When you talk to them, what kind of questions do you ask them?
I can talk to who?
Huh?
I can talk to what person?
You can talk to whom? Sorry, say that.
I ask what person I can
Don't get it. Sorry. What
talk.
you talk to the person who is also in the business, right? In the fishery business. So what do you ask him? You have to ask him some question. You go to like he's the fisherman. Say, hey, hi, fisherman, how are you? Then what's next? What do you say after that? After you say hi, how are you? Then what do you say?
就跟他讲我要做这件事，我可以找谁啊？
Oh, so you ask the person who you can work with, right? You say that I would like to do something to help the village. So who can I go to? Is that right? Good. I think that's good, right? So you first of all, like they like to go to the fishermen directly and ask them how the weather affects their business. And then you go to some people there, just asking them, if I like to do the local revitalization, who can I work with? Okay, how about this group? You? I don't know why. Oh, he said he will do it this time.
School student,
School students, like elementary school or the junior high?
junior.
Junior, probably
And,
junior high.
那个什么 senior
Or senior high school, they're
Yeah.
much older. Okay, so
Yes.
what questions do you ask them?
what's the question 哦？
Because you are going to talk to them, right? And then you have to ask them some questions. Otherwise, why do you go to them?
Chat,
You just chat with them.
Yeah.
You become
Mm.
their friends.
shorten the distance. It's chat
Okay,
is
shorten the
first-
distance. Try to build some
yeah,
relationship.
first step
But then why? Why do you want to build some relationship with high school students?
because they young.
Because you are young and they are young. Okay,
No distance.
no distance. But then still, what's the point?
What's the point? Oh?
Yeah, I know. Like if like we are in the same group and we talk to each other, so there will be no distance between us. We are kind of become a
Yeah.
group, and then because we need to work together, so I talk to them
Yes.
and we try to build some relationship. But then why do you try to build a relationship with the young high school students in the fishing village?
Because they have think.
Huh?
He can think and
Oh, they have more creative
Create, yeah,
ideas.
create.
You probably talk to them and ask them what they can come up with some good ideas,
Yes.
so that they can try to adopt their ideas. Okay, to make friends with you. They are busy. They are busy having their own lives. So if you're going to them, then what kind of questions are you going to ask them? What kind of answers do you expect to get from them? You have to figure that out first. You're not just be there, okay, I'm here, so answer my question and be my friend. So you have to think, who will be the important stakeholders? You like to find out what their problems are so that you can do something there. And this is the whole idea of this course. 我们这门课的主要的精神就是在这个，我们要学会怎么去做一个地方创生的实际的案例。叫你现在先知道你到底要跟谁讲话呀？你连你的那个对手会跟你合作也好，或是你去帮他的人，你都还没有办法找出来的话，你就后面就不知道要做什么了。Okay, so let's take a 10-minute break. They have the park, and also they have some natural scenes for people to go there. And I think that's what they're trying to do. Although they cannot rely on the traditional fishery to make money, but then they are counting on a different kind of business or different kind of industry, that is tourism. So how many of you have ever been to one of these places, like the museum or the park or the Wangyou Gu, the Wangyou Valley? Have you ever been there? Just raise your hand. How many of you have ever been to these places, any one of them, like the museum or the park or the Wangyou Valley? No one? Really? You never been there? Do you know that you went there, right? They have a very beautiful, colorful walls there. A lot of people like to take photos there. Don't you know about it? 那个啊，不是有一个那个彩色的墙，就是很多网美喜欢在那边照相。那个叫断背山吗？不是吧？还有潮境公园啊，潮境公园 they have some blue 扫帚怎么讲？一下忘了，扫把怎么讲？扫把 那个扫把 how do you say that？ 一下忘了，扫把怎么说？一下忘记。broom, right? So they have the brooms there. So a lot of people like to imagine they are the witches flying on the brooms. They take a lot of photos there. So you never been to that place? Really? It's very famous scenic spot, and a lot of people like to take photos there. Okay, anyway, so tourism has become one way for them to try to solve their problems, especially the financial problems. Move on. And so here, later, please pay attention to what kind of things that they come up with, especially the Ocean University with the community, and they are trying to use several strategies to help the community to find some other ways to make a living. And after we show all the methods that they come up with, I'd like you to think which one might work the best, and then you tell me why you think so. 就等一下会呈现他们有几个解决方式，那请各组推派一个代表，要说刚刚这几种方式哪一种应该会是最棒？好，为什么你觉得是最棒？好 ，So the first one is that of course they have a lot of traditional activities. They try to celebrate the old days, and then as we all know that fishery has a lot to do with religion, because if you go out and then try to catch fish, it depends on the weather, right? But you cannot control the weather, so you have to pray God for giving you the right message, telling you where the fish might be, and also the God will give you bless you. So of course, the fishing, when we talk about fishing village culture, there's a lot of things to do with religion. And then, so they have the Mazu Raojing, the circling of Mazu, of the temple. And also the young people, like you mentioned, to talk with the senior high school students. They help to create some things that is related to their culture. Okay, so this is one thing. Okay, one solution to try to bring back all the cultural heritage or all the cultural events related to religion or related to fishery. 好，第一件做的事情就是把一些文化的活动带进来，跟渔业的信仰或者是跟渔业的传统做一个关联。When doing this, they are also inviting the young people to join them. 而年轻人也加入了。Okay, that's one thing. The next. So you can take a look at this. So this is the tourism, the tour event. Go on. And the young people are working together, and then that is the lion dance. Okay, the second thing that they try to do is to also try to change the ways of make a living. And how they try to change the ways of all fishery, of course, they need to work with like the organization, kind of like the Fishermen's Association, 就所谓的渔会, and then they sell the fish that can help them to earn more money. And just like when we talk about 就是这个所谓高经济价值，这个 high economic value. When we talk about going fishing, if you try to catch some fish or shrimps that can help you sell at a much better price, then you don't have to go fishing so many times. As we all discussed earlier, we all feel that working on board is tiring, is busy, and we don't want to spend so much time on the sea. We don't want to get up so early. But if one catch can help you earn enough money, then you don't have to go out of sea so often. Then it won't be that tiring. 就是如果你是所谓捕这种高经济价值的鱼的话，你就不用那么常出海了。我们刚刚讲那些辛苦的工作就不用了，对不对？好 ，OK, that's the second way to try to solve the problem. Okay, how about the third way? This is again the second way. And also, after you catch the fish, you have to sell it. And then how can you sell it easily? Then you need to kind of like some kind of certificate, or to show that your fish is no problem. There's no problem with your fish, and they're safe, they're fresh. So you need to get some kind of certification. And this is what they're doing. And also, you don't rely on the traditional fish market. After you catch the fish, you sell them on the internet. We know that now a lot of young people like to do business, to buy and sell on the internet. So this kind of go with the trend. And then you don't really need a store to sell your fish. It's just like the fishermen, they go outside to catch the fish. When they come back, they take photos of the fish, and they just posted the pictures online. And people are willing to pay money through the internet. So it's easy for them to sell and to buy. Okay, so this is the second way to try to convert the traditional ways of fishery, okay? And that is what we said about the certificate. And the next one, the label. Okay, the third one is that they also do some other things. Okay, the first one is about the cultural event. The second one is about change the traditional ways of selling fish, of catching fish. And then the third one is that they also have some courses. And these courses help the students to have more collaboration with the community, like they shoot videos to record what happens in the fishing village. And also they try to make the village more beautiful so that it can become a more popular scenic spot. Like they color the wall that I just mentioned. A lot of people go there, take photos, and it has become a very famous place for people to go to. And also the students go to the community and try to work with the local people there to find out what they can do. So that is the young power, So university students go there and help. They use their creativity, doing a lot of things to make the village become more colorful, to become more dynamic, and to become more energetic. So that's the third way. Okay. How about next page? 今天到这里. So 3 ways, okay? Discuss for 1 minute and have one person to represent your group and say, which way do you think will work best and why? Actually, I don't know the numbers. I don't have the figures to show that actually this one is working better than the other. But then we can just discuss. We try to make a guess. And also, I think that can help you to think, what might be the possible way for me to do? Okay, so there are 3 ways. The one is to connect to the cultural event. Let's go back. That's the first one, okay? Some religious event, some cultural event. Go on to the next page. And then the second way is that we try to catch the high value fish, and then we try to sell them in a different ways, in a more modern way. And then the third one is that we try to recruit college students to work together, and they use their imagination and creativity, okay? Think about this and talk for 1 minute. Number 2, so the second solution will be trying to modify their ways of fishery and then try to catch the high value fish and then also sell them on the internet, right? Go ahead.
Because it's a high value, high economic value, and introduce this place to more people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
讲完了。
How about this is just one way, and also another method that they are using is that they are selling
我就喜欢经典的。
through the organization, the Fishermen Association. No, I'm sorry, that's the wrong slide. Also, they are trying to organize the fishermen to have the fishery, and also they are using the label, and also they are selling through the internet. Why is this also the most useful or the most effective ways?
，use internet.
Uh-huh. Say something more.
就是宅配吧。
To ship the product directly to people's house.
Yes.
Yeah, but then why? Why is it the most effective way? 宅配到家当然我知道，对。然后呢，你要解释啊，为什么觉得它最有效啊 ？Why is the most effective?
Because people is too lazy.
People are lazy. People do not like to go to the market. they like to receive things right at home. Okay, so when the goods sent directly to them, they can just stay at home and wait for the goods,
Right.
goods to the whole.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. Which way is the most effective way, do you think? We have 3 different methods.
Two.
Yeah, also number 2. Okay, please explain.
增加了工作机会，
哈，
增加工作机会。
增加工作机会，哪些人工作机会增加了？谁？ You mean that they have more job opportunities? So who start to work too? Who also have the opportunity to work?
建立销售管道的人。
Oh, all the people that are involved in the selling system, right? Including not just the fishermen, like, so everyone that helps to sell the fish, including people probably working with the internet. That's a very good point, right? So I think he just made a very good point. A lot of people can also, it's not just the fishermen who go on fishing, and also people who help to sell, including who help to maybe put the label on the fish, and people who help with the package of the fish product also get the job opportunity. And that's a very good point. Okay. Your turn. Which way is the most effective one?
We think the first one.
The first one?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to the first one. That is the first one.
Yeah, because we think the Taiwanese people like to join the festival, like in February, the 大甲妈祖 like this,
Yeah.
and then they will bring everyone to know this village
Yes. Yes.
and they can know their culture and their culture will pass on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a very smart way to do it, right? Because a lot of people would like to follow the circling of Mazu when this event occurs. And then they just follow this trend. Yeah. So they are also having this special event. So a lot of tourists will come too. Okay, good point. So you can see that I think Ocean University are really doing smart things because they are not just helping the community people with their traditional fisher business. Also, they are bringing high school students, they are bringing tourists to join the community, okay? So everyone can contribute. It's not just about the economy, not just about fishery, the industry. It can be like a cultural event. It can be like a creative activity for young children, young adolescents. Good. Yiwen, could you come back and control the slides? So let's move on to the last several pages, and then it will be your turn to give us the report. And what are the good things after they start to do this? You can see here's the conclusion. And the people, especially the fishermen, are making more money. And also the tradition especially the traditional culture are to be preserved. And also a lot of tourists come over. And just as he said, women got the job opportunities. They cannot go outside to catch fish, but then they can help packing the fish. Then can help maybe put the label on the package. So women are doing a lot of work too. And also young people, international tourists come over. And because university students like you can speak in English, so when international tourists come over to Badouzi, they will feel at home too because they can communicate in English. Okay, so all this work out. Is that all? Okay, and that is all. I think Yiwen did a very good job, and actually Yiwen helped to prepare this course material. Really a very good job, especially talking about what are the strategies that they're adopting. And that gives us a very clear idea what National University has done there with the community people. So now it's your turn to share with us what example that you find out very interesting. Okay, why don't we get started with probably which group? This one. Who is going to tell us to share?
Shitan Township Local Creation Project. Part 1. Where is this case? Shitan Township, Miaoli Country. 苗栗县斯坦乡. What are people doing to help press? The road turns with local characteristics such as 仙山、仙水 and 仙草。他们就是在地的特色是仙山、仙水跟仙草。仙水就是山泉水，然后它是算 local sightseeing， 算地方观光这样。然后 Part 3 Why do people do this? Let Shitan Township must work for driving local development， 就是希望就是可以结合在地的特色，然后让人口回流这样。
这个人口回流啊，你要先讲人口，因为你们要用 Google 翻译就要你就打人口回来，对，它就是 population， 不然我想为什么嘴巴要回来 ？mouth 是嘴巴啊，因为人口的口它有2个意思嘛，所以人口 actually 是 population， 不是 mouth。你这个就会完全英文就不错，知道吗？那 Can I ask a question? When you say 仙山仙草, is that a special name, or you're talking about like
mountain water?
How about 仙山呢? What is 仙山?
Local place.
Oh, it's like a scenic spot for people to go. 风景名胜区让人们去玩的地方吗？
对。
Okay. Do you have any questions for him before Chris makes the response? Would you like to? Huh? Very good. What is good? Excellent. Any questions for him? Do you not know what people there? 在苗栗什么？仙潭、斯坦
乡。
So now you have a clear idea what people are doing there. 仙草。What do they do with 仙草？
就那个。
So what's so special? I can buy 仙草 here at 南子校区 too. Why do I go to 石潭 to buy the 仙草？
可能那边的比较好吃吧，我也不知道。
So you have to tell us, right? This is your special case. You have to tell me why it's so special there. Okay, Chris, please.
Like for example, in Alisan, they have Alisan tea, right? Do they have tea as well in Siansan? I mean, do they have any
山茶，然后有石潭茶吗 ？Do they have the tea?
应该没有。
No. You know, when you talk about 仙山仙水, that makes sense to us because that may be a scenic spot. The mountain is very beautiful, so people go there. And the water, because it's a spring water, 因为它是山泉 spring water, so people like to drink. But when you say 仙草, why 仙草? They can be like anything else. 它可以是什么小麦汁，它可以是什么豆浆 but then why 仙草? So you have to tell us so that we can see, oh, that's why it's such a special thing there, and the people like to go there and pay and buy, okay, and spend money there. 好，所以这个特点要解释清楚才行。好，所以我们现在对于石潭呢，虽然 people 说 excellent, I don't know why you say it's excellent. Why is it excellent? In which way is it excellent?
The PPT is beautiful.
That's a trivial thing. That's the most trivial thing. 那就是最不重要的事情啊。看 PPT， 你可以说 because he's handsome， 那也是 the most trivial thing。你可以说因为他很帅，所以很棒啊，这个也是最细微末节的。好了 ，Anyway, thank you for your good effort. You're done with the response. Okay, the next group, your turn. Okay, go. 大家都是很简洁。
I don't know.
我的重点只有你做1页，就是要你简洁。可是你还是要把特点告诉我，你不能讲让我们还是一头雾水啊！ 不知道为什么哈，但是至少刚刚讲的有几个特点嘛哈，就是很清楚，然后因为 PPT 很好看，对不对哈？可是你还是要能够说出来东西啦哈。我们这样感觉下个礼拜还可以再做一次，还蛮好玩的。就是 for next week still, everyone has to upload one example, but then when we come to class, you discuss within your group and decide whose example will be presented. And then you ask one person to go up here to introduce his special case. 就是我们同样事情再做一遍，同样的问题哦，我等下再开一个讨论版。你在每个人都上传一页，可是上课的时候我会让你们也是自己互相先看彼此的 example， 然后决定谁的最好，谁上来讲这样子。感觉你好像会免疫这样子，因为你今天讲过了。好，同样的他可能会免疫。好，那你们其他人就要去轮流。好，那你呢是永远不变的唯一的一个 presenter， 因为结果你下礼拜就不来了。红旗对不对？我认得你了，不能不来。老师下礼拜一上课的第一个是红旗来了没？红旗来了我们就开始上课，红旗没来我们就休息，这样子。OK， 好，好了，圣姐，好。真是昏倒。我们上次有讲过那个去校外参访的事了吗？好像没提到。你记得我上次有说可可园那个是礼拜几号？27是不是？是不是5月27？忘记了，因为我真的没写啊。5月11嘛。好，那你先来讲。谁讲？可以坐在这里讲。不行，怎么可以坐在那里讲？你看老师坐在这里讲过话。
How use art performance to let everyone know Zhanghua Lugang better, and why the creation business developed after the art festival has given more creative productive population the experience of staying in their hometowns. The art festival and the company of art lead us to see a more diverse world. And when these values return to daily life after the art festival is over, the value spectrum of the place will be more colorful.
I have 3 questions. You only answer one. So you have how
and why.
Okay. So any questions for him? Do you understand what he's saying? He talks about Luga, and then he talks about the art festival, is that right? Art festival. And then they're trying to attract people to come over. So why they are doing this? Use art performance.
Let more people know Lugang.
What kind of art performance they're having? It's like a show.
Yes.
A theater. Yes.
Is the show is can foreigners know the show like there any like translation or
Yeah, foreigners understand the show. 外国人可以看得懂吗？ They have Japanese translation. Oh yeah, oh, they're on the big screen. But then why Japanese only?
maybe like
Japanese tourists like to go there. So do you think this is a smart idea?
Yes.
Have you ever been there?
No.
No. Maybe you will go someday.
Yes.
Okay, the last group. Okay.
I introduced Taiwu Chun.
Taiwu village.
They doing agriculture upgrading and talent cultivation and technology introduction and brand building. Why are they doing it? Taiwuchun originally located in the west of Dawu Mountain, lost its foundation due to Typhoon Moraca and had to relocate from the permanent housing base of Xinchi Farm at the foot of the mountain. However, the people in Daocheng who left their original land lacked economic resources, so they need to take inventory of resources and re-establish a sustainable economic foundation.
Okay. Any questions? Do you know what they're doing now? Do you all understand? You want to have any questions for him? Or Cynthia, do you have any question for him? Because Chris is supposed to respond, right? So UTA's asked question. Thanks. Do you want to ask him a question?
What technology they induce?
Yeah, what kind of technology they are using? You say that they use the technology introduction. So what kind of technology they introduced? 介绍了什么样的科技？
我操，完全
不知道。就是你啊，忘了吗？一个礼拜前的事情，just 1 week past。郑杰呢？ How about you? Do you have any question? I like to find out what do you mean by brand building? 地方品牌的建立。So how or what brand they build? Brand building. 什么样的地方品牌？ What kind of brand? Curious response.
I have the same question.
Yeah. Right. What kind of technology? Yeah. Thank you.
They have to relocate out to
Yeah. Right. I think this is a very good case. Thank you so much. Please go back to your seat. This is a very good case, but then we really need more introduction, like what they do there. I definitely believe they are doing a very good job there because now people there are surviving. They can now go on with their life. But then what kind of technology is introduced and how they build the local brand and what kind of local brand. So if you talk about Taiwu, so what comes to you? Well, I mean, what can you make connection with? So that could be the brand, but then what kind of brand is it? So I'd like you to do this one more time, but then you just have to really know your case. Of course, you find that from the internet, but still you have to do your homework. You need to find out what they are doing there, why they are doing it, and then when we are asking questions, you have to answer the questions. You cannot say, I don't know because I just copy the language. I just copy the words. I copy the sentences. That's not the way to introduce a case, right? It's just like you read something to us, then I can just go on internet to find out myself. I don't need you to tell me, to read for me. So please do some homework, find out about the special case, and you have to know very clearly what they do there. If you say introducing technology, you have to tell us what technology. If you say brand building, you have to tell us what kind of brand. Okay. So I have one more thing. Yiwen, I need you to go to the discussion board. Go back to the discussion board. I'll publish it. 等我一下。你重新整理一下。So for next week, and still we're doing the same thing. And this time also you upload one slide only. It doesn't have to be very long, a lot of details. I don't need that. But I do want you to know very clearly your case. So this time still tell us where the place is and what they're doing there, why they're doing it. And then one more thing I want you to answer me. Why do you think this is a special case? For example, you say, oh, I like to introduce Yan Cao, but then why special? There has to be something special that makes you feel impressed. And what are the things that makes you feel impressed? Okay? 所以就是你的下一次还是要做这个，你要很清楚的告诉我这个案子他们到底在做什么，然后为什么你觉得它很棒？你不是乱找一个，就是很方便，我正好打一个关键字出去，它跳出来，我就觉得很棒，这样不行啊。不能来混呐，好不好？好，认真一点，好不好 ？OK， 好，那我们稍微讲一下关于接下来的两件事情哈，就是 Do you remember that we said you have to come to the speech on May 23rd in the morning？ 5月23号早上，我们上次有没有提？还是你们当时都不在？5月23是23吗？不对，5月31。不是，那个日本人要来的那个古装先生是5月23嘛？5月23号早上和几点我忘记了呢？记不记得？9点到9点。是不是？9点。9点来这里，是不是？是9点吗？确定哈？好，5月23号早上9点，come to this classroom because we have a special guest, who will fly directly from Japan to Taiwan to share with us his experience as he is doing the regional revitalization. So we think that's a very special case because we don't have a lot of chances to meet person who is doing the things that we're learning. So I do want you to come over for the May 23rd speech, but that is in the morning. So who cannot show up has to tell us because we need to count how many people will be present.